Hey guys, Jengar here. Still some footage from the dev server today. The Razorbacks, both the American one and the British one, will be taking a look at. I tried to fly some matches in the dev server, but there were precious little people actually flying planes. I have one on my team in this match, but the enemy team is completely made up of AI pilots. So there's no real competition there. You'll just see some footage of me testing the plane a little bit, stall speed, but also climb rate, vertical energy retention, a little bit of diving here and there, um, and some shooting, of course, some rolling, some turning, some maneuvering, just to get a feel for these Razorbacks. Of course, the main flight model is like just your regular uh, canopy P-47. But it seems to be a little bit slower. It seems to turn a little bit less good. But for the rest, it feels pretty similar to the later Ds that we have in game already for so long. I find these two planes a treat. We've been, if you're waiting for this long on a plane, it is something of a gift. And basically, this should have been in before the canopy modeled P-47s, but oh well. I guess in the end it's nice when they do then finally come, these planes, and we're in a good dive here, pulling off a little bit, trying to keep our speed for the I-16 that's coming in here. We're gonna try to put a stall maneuver on him. I'm pretty sure we're a good bit faster, we hold a good bit more energy. I think for the SB pilots, the overall visibility is going to be much less, of course, in the Razorbacks. That is, of course, also why they changed it in the end, because they wanted better visibility in a thing. But these were the original ones, the way it was designed initially. Although with the XP-47A, it was a little bit of a different design. The B started to look more like this, and is the one that the US ordered. And in the end, they developed it until it became an awesome fighter that it is. And these Razorbacks went into the war in I believe it was somewhere in 1942, and the first air kill was made with it somewhere in 1943, I think, in March. So yeah, fantastic history on the thing, of course, especially with ground pounding as well, as it turned out that this was a sturdy bugger. Initially they used the P-51s as ground attackers and these P-47s as escort fighters. And after a while they figured out that it was wise to turn it around. Now I cannot get this pillbox. I would at least get a few hits in a regular game, but oh well. Test server, right? We shall think it is a glitch. Most likely. But the climb rate was actually pretty good. I was testing it a little bit, and I could keep it easily at 20 degrees with war emergency power for a long time, until the engine overheated. Of course it does overheat in the end, and I'm noticing actually also when I was flying, but that I didn't have my setup correct. I still don't have the setup completely as it should be, like it is in game. I guess on the test server I don't really take the time. You know, with the test servers, it's always with the dev server, it's always like you don't have enough time, because they always seem to time it for the American on American times. I was waiting for it from 9 o'clock GMT plus what is it at the moment, 2 or 1, whatever, Amsterdam time, and it only opened at 10 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, I mean, I have to go to bed at 12 maximum. And so I have 2 hours on a dev server. So I made a dev server video, the overview, and I tried to fly out a few planes, and in the meantime trying to finish the overview video. And that's what you can do when you live in Europe, in the midst of Europe, unless you have no children and you can fly until 3 o'clock in the night. But yeah, so the time was limited. I made footage for this, and tomorrow you will get the IP38. And after that we'll continue with regular footage again until we get another dev server, and we'll try to make some videos on extra added planes or the planes that we missed up until this point. And hopefully they open the dev server a little bit earlier for us European users. Because that is a downside. You just don't have enough time when you have 2 hours until 12 to get on the dev server and do stuff. Only the spading of the planes and getting them all unlocked and putting them in cruise and stuff like that takes almost half an hour. Believe it or not. But anyway, these Thunderbolts. We noticed in several of the matches that the AI planes on the other side didn't take off from the airfield, so they're all there. We can see a little bit of the durability of the P-47. So we got a fire, we lost almost all our fuel, but we are still flying. We can make another pass. So the durability in the plane is as it should be, quite awesome. And that is always nice. There is definitely overheating in the plane as well. As you see right now, my oil and my engine are yellow, and I've had them on amber quite a few times. It doesn't happen too quickly, so it is definitely manageable, but it is doable as it looks now on the dev server. In the maneuverability, I would have to test some more once it comes live, but it seems to have a little bit less sustained turn rate compared to the Ds, the later Ds, that is the canopy versions. And roll rate seems to be on point though. It seems quite similar. I don't think there's much difference there, but in the turn time there does seem to be a little bit of a difference. The climb rate might actually be a little better. I'd have to do a little bit more testing on that, but it looks very good, the climbing on this thing. I was surprised by it. It could just be the dev server and that they have to finalize some of the flight models before they finish it, but looked good on the British version that we see here as well. I quite like it that the British now have this thing as well. Fantastic. For the performance, I didn't test it enough to make a full comparison yet, but it will be probably similar to the later Ds. Fantastic. Under higher altitudes, we'll have to see if that goes exactly like that for the Razorbacks as well. But it felt quite good, especially the energy retention in a straight line when you come from a dive. Top speeds and stuff like that will be a little bit less, I believe. The stat cards, which are never to be fully trusted. Only definitive answers can be given once you have tested it yourself. But the stat cards give a hint to that they might be slightly slower. And well, we'll have to see about that. I will do a comparison as well once they come online with D28 probably, or the D25. I think I reviewed them both in the last 2 years, and I've kept my records of the last 2 years with all the speeds and all the data. So we'll do a little bit of a comparison, see what the Razorbacks have to offer in comparison to the later P-47s that we have in game already. I don't expect major differences, but some minor differences could already be something to keep an eye on when you fly them, because it might surprise you if you don't know about it, right? And you never want to be surprised in that sense. The firepower is, as always, magnificent with 850 cals. That is not different, has never been changed. Never change a good thing. Because it works, man, it works. The 50 cals, well, now my second favorite machine gun after the Swedish 13.2s, which are absolutely devastating. But the 50 cals and 8 of them are still evaporating other planes when you meet something. Of course, this has always been the case, and it's no different on these. The ammo loads are also very good with 350 rounds. So happiness all round. And we're gonna have to see the control stiffening and all that jazz. I will do that in more extensive testing when the plane comes out. We'll have a good look at that. And of course the top speeds in a dive and stuff like that, red line. I think that should be pretty similar, but I think it's mainly the cruising speeds, the maximum speeds in a straight line, that will be different. not necessarily the diving speed, but who knows, the flight model is slightly different and there might be a difference in there as well. Final approach for another bunch of AI planes that didn't want to take off. Hey, we got killed again. Bloody hell. Bastardos. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button, become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video, do leave me a comment, and if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.